wanted to basically talk a little bit about time management, and I know that it can help you guys. And if you guys feel that you have the time management skills, then that is awesome. I'm glad that you feel that you are good with time management. But worst case scenario, I know that this live will even help me personally. And I think that it will have benefits to me because I am about to start a new job tomorrow, and I'm really, really excited about it. It is at an outpatient ortho center, and it's a full-time position, but I'm also going to retain my per diem status at my current job. So what that means is I am going to be working like over 40 hours. I'm going to be working like, 6 days a week on some weeks, because every other weekend I'm going to be at my per diem job. I know that between 40 hours, a per diem job, OT genius, it's a lot that I'm going to have on my plate. And not to mention that I also have to manage my time with family and friends and just even personal interests that I have in my own life. So it's gonna have to be something that I need to implement, and I know that a lot of people struggle with this as well. As a pre-OT, I know firsthand, because this was my experience, that there can be a lot of things that you need to get done. You need to get the requests and send those over to your evaluator so they can write your letters of recommendation. You need to find a place to go do your observation hours. You need to go and schedule time for your GRE. You need to study for the GRE. You need to book in your own time just to do the actual studying, in addition to your current classes that you may be taking for either your bachelor's or your prerequisites, whatever it is. And so it is a lot that we can take on our plate. And I was talking to a student in the Road to Accepted program on Thursday, and she was telling me all of the stuff that she had to get done, and how she just was basically overwhelmed. And as we continued to talk, we figured out that the main reason why she felt overwhelmed was because she was looking at the grand scheme of things. She was looking at everything that she had to get done in general, and that overwhelmed her. And that is a real thing that can paralyze us, and we get paralysis by analysis because we're just looking at everything that needs to get done, and we're like, how in the world am I going to do that? And it just seems like it's not even feasible to accomplish those things. So 2 things that I want to leave you with. Number 1, you have to take each day and each week at a time, 1 day at a time, one day at a time, 1 week at a time, 1 month at a time. You cannot be looking at everything that you have to do, because a lot of times it takes a whole year even to get all of the stuff ready that you need to be able to send it to the schools as you apply. You're not going to get those 80 hours in 2 weeks. You need to just take it 1 day at a time, 1 week at a time. So that's my first piece of advice as far as time management. And then my other piece of advice to you is to also start learning how it is that you can collapse your own time. Right now, there are many things that you can do to collapse your own time. And what I mean by that is to get more done in in a shorter amount of time. So, I want to ask you something. If you had to study for an exam that was 2 weeks away, and I want you guys, if you're live, I want you guys to put in the comment section, hashtag team live, hashtag team replay if you're watching the replay, but I want you to answer this question for me. If you had an exam 2 weeks from now, would you start studying for that exam today? I can personally speak for myself and say I probably would not. I would probably start studying maybe 3 days, at most, 2 to 3 days is what I would normally dedicate to study for an exam. but I get a lot more done for that one exam. Why? Because I've collapsed time. Because I knew that if, like, it's game time and I have to get all of that stuff done in a shorter amount of time. So, if we learn how to get more done within a shorter time frame, and because we have that perspective of, oh my gosh, I have to get all of this stuff done, it's going to get your butt in gear. And it's going to basically allow you to get more done in a shorter amount of time because you've learned how to collapse that time frame. You're like, just how you, instead of studying over a course of 2 weeks for an exam, which the majority of us wouldn't do, and then we study for it in 2 days, do the same thing. Do the same thing. You'll tackle a lot more if you say, in 2 days I need to get that personal statement done, and that's my deadline. Like, you set yourself a 2-day deadline even, and it doesn't mean that it's going to be your final product even. I'm not saying that, but it gets you going. It allows you to just get more done in a shorter time frame. And one of the ways that you can even do that is just simply by waking up earlier. And that's the hard part for me. I'm definitely, if I'm going to start doing more stuff for like OT Genius too, and, even personal development and reading books that I want to read, or watch shows that I want to watch, I'm going to need to learn how to collapse my time frame so I can have more time to do what I actually want to do with my own life and have the time freedom that I want. Because the more efficient that you are within that day to get more things done, the more you've knocked it out. So learn how to be more efficient, and there is various forms of technology resources out there that can help you do that. Even something as simple as, let's say, this is more for personal relationships that you have with others, but you can collapse time frame just by even scheduling out your texts. My phone has a feature where I can literally schedule out my texts. So if I want to reach out to someone, but I don't want to reach out and I say, oh, I need to get in touch with that person, but or it's their birthday and I don't want to forget, or something like that, I can literally schedule that out. That's it. I did it. Boom, out of the way. I collapsed a little bit of my time. So that's just a little example, but there's also ways that you can use technology to even proofread papers, to just collapse your time frame like that, and you can start delegating things to others that are maybe not school related because you have to do the schoolwork. But let's say maybe you need to walk the dog, and you have a roommate. Maybe you can work something out with your roommate to walk the dog. Now your dog is getting walked, but it's not on you. You've collapsed time. You have more time for you to do what you need to do, and in some cases that is pre-OT, OT CAS stuff. So learn how to delegate your stuff, get maybe up a little bit earlier, and I think that if you start doing that sort of stuff, it's going to allow you to collapse time a little bit. And again, just also please remember that even though there are so many things that need to get done as a pre-OT, the application, the hours, the GRE, the prerequisites, the letters of recommendation, and all of that stuff, you cannot look at all of that because that's what's going to overwhelm you, and you're going to be like, I can't. And then you keep procrastinating about it. And then next thing you know, the application deadline is getting closer, and you have not done, and you haven't done it. So set yourself your own deadline and treat it as if you have an exam in 2 days, because that's usually when we would start studying for an exam 2-3 days before, because we know that it's crunch time. But crunch time should, pretty much be today, get more done in a shorter time frame. And if you can cut your week in half, that is even better. Whatever you have to get done for that week, see what you can get done in those 3.5 days. So like that, you've gotten a lot of stuff out of the way and you have more time for you. Obviously, that also leads to a lot of implications as far as mental health and just even overall happiness, and it will lead you to be less stressed because you have knocked things out.